I'm recording it.
Cool. Perfect. Awesome. All right. So I'm really excited to host this team call, you guys. If you have any questions throughout it, I'll definitely answer them at the end. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about social media. I have like a couple things that I want to go through. I'm going to do an audit and kind of help you guys visually go through some stuff. And then at the end, I'm just going to give you guys some like random tips that have worked for me. But just remember, like, as I walk through this team call, you guys, like, these are things that have worked for me, right? I'm not going to like etch it in stone and like put it up on like the Bible or something and say like, this is the only way that you can do it. But for me, in the past 3.5 years of coaching, this is what has brought me the most success. This is how I've built my business. And at the end of the day, like, social media is our storefront. So hopefully you guys all have a piece of paper and a pen or pencil handy, because smart people take notes. Because my desire, I'm not going to say hope because I don't like the word hope, is that you guys will have tangible things that you can turn around and really implement in your business tonight, whether it's something super small or something that, you know, is like an aha moment for you. So I'm just going to start off and talk about the fact that you guys, regardless of how successful you want to be as a coach, regardless of coaching and your career and what you want coaching to look like, having a strong professional brand on social media is extremely valuable to you as a human being. Okay? Like, coaching aside, you know, popularity aside, money making aside, having a professional platform and followers and a place where you can express yourself professionally on social media is extremely, extremely valuable. Welcome to the new business model, you guys. Us as consumers, we lead the market now. People don't pay, and they probably do, but people don't spend as much money putting commercials on TV, spending billions of dollars on commercials between TV shows, because who records their TV shows? I don't, because I don't watch TV, but like, everyone records their TV shows and, you know, goes through the commercials, right? People aren't paying for big billboards along the sides of the highway as much anymore, right? Because advertising, marketing is in our hands with our phones and with social media. And because of that, the consumer, us, who we are, we literally lead that, right? Like, we have full control of, you know, what brands we represent. And it's basically, I think it's called like micro marketing or micro like influencers or whatever. But having us be the influence of marketing and the influence of brands and companies is literally the future of our economy as a business as a whole. So before you kind of write it off and you're like, well, I don't need to take my Instagram like that seriously, because like, I'm only going to be like an emerald coach, or like, I don't really know if like I want this like to be my full-time job, or like, I'm really serious about like whatever other career that I'm pursuing. That's amazing. It is still important and extremely valuable, and it would be a very smart thing on your part to create a brand on social media for yourself as a whole, conveying your story. Because as I go into these other tips, you guys, I'm going to talk to you guys about the importance of sharing your story and your brands outside of just sharing your brands outside of just Beachbody, right? Outside of just coaching, outside of just Shakeology. So if you can capitalize on that and get really good at sharing your story and presenting yourself as a professional individual, like, I'm sure any person, any employer that you will ever have, you know, a meeting with or an interview with, I don't even know what it's called, because last time I had an interview was probably 10 years ago. They're going to look at, sure, they're going to look at your resume, but they're also going to go to your Instagram. They're also going to go to your Facebook. So couldn't you blow them out of the freaking water by having an amazing presence on Instagram? Like, I'm not trying to tell you guys I'm more valuable than you, but like, from a professional standpoint, people take me seriously because they see that I know how to build a brand and I can present myself in a valuable way on social media. And I've created this following of people who are consumers, right? So other companies reach out to me and they're like, whoa, like, you know, you have an influence, right? Like, you can, you clearly know what you're doing. So regardless of coaching, you guys, and regardless of what goals that you have for yourself, it is extremely smart for you guys to have an influence on social media and take your social media platform seriously. All right, with that being said, I kind of want to go backwards a little bit and talk about maybe like how your guys' social media journeys have gone, because I literally have this conversation with every single new coach that I have. It's just so funny. So here's how your social media journey, especially as a new coach, will go, right? Has anybody related to this before? As I start talking and portraying this story, just like show me in the comments or tell me a yes or whatever as I share this. Okay, so you sign up as a coach. and you do your workout and you're stoked and you're doing your nutrition plan and you're getting these like amazing results, and like maybe you have obliques, and then all of a sudden like you've lost 5 pounds and you're freaking stoked on life, right? So, oh my gosh, I'm gonna post a picture because look at my freaking results, they're amazing. Your friends and family are like, holy shit, dude, like I trust you, I know you, we've been friends for 10 to 20 years. Of course I'm gonna jump in and join your challenge group, or of course I'm gonna try out this workout plan that you've done. Warm market joins you, maybe you get a couple coaches, maybe you get a couple challengers, you're super excited about it, whatever. All of a sudden your following, which is probably 400 to 500 Instagram followers, is saturated, and now shit gets hard. Who am I gonna reach out to now? Like all my friends have already joined. All my coworkers have already joined me. Oh my gosh, like where am I possibly gonna go now? My market is saturated. I don't know what to do. Shit's starting to get hard because like, you know, I only have 400 Instagram followers. So like, what the heck am I gonna do now? Where am I gonna get my, you know, my market from, or my next client from, or my next prospect from? Like, where are they gonna come from? Oh my gosh, people aren't knocking on my door anymore. Okay, I guess coaching isn't for me because like, you know, nobody wants to join. You guys, I see so many new coaches do this. That's amazing that you have a warm market. That's amazing that there are people close to your circle. Some people don't even have that for people that are gonna join them. Like that's amazing that there's people close to you that are gonna join you. But instilling trust is a foundational key of being a successful coach. And you instill trust by showing up consistently for an extended period of time. Okay, so your 3-month market as a coach where shit gets hard because you've saturated your warm market, or your 6-month you know, mark as a coach where you're like, oh my gosh, my Instagram isn't growing, I guess this just isn't for me, or you know, where your Success Club numbers drop because you're actually having to reach out to people that like, you know, wouldn't buy dirt from you because they're your bestie. Like that's where instilling trust and building a platform and sharing your story and getting good with social media is super, super important. So instilling trust from the beginning and building that foundation with your following, and then making sure that your following is consistently growing, is a key aspect of this journey. And everybody is gonna hit a wall, right? You know, your warm market is going to become saturated. Your 3 or 4 or 5 month mark, I was just talking to Becca, I'm gonna call you out because I was totally talking to you about this the other day, and I was like, dude, this is where people make or break it, right? People are either like, oh gosh, it's so hard, it's so hard. Or it's like, you keep showing up and you keep, you know, doing your fitness journey and you keep slaying your nutrition and you start building this foundation of trust and you grind it freaking off, yes, with these new people who maybe you haven't spent the last 10 years being best friends with, right? So that's where this foundation of trust is super important. And as a new coach, like if you're even like less than 2 years into this business, you are a new coach. I've been instilling trust for 3.5 years. I have never missed a day on Instagram. One day I missed because my dog died. And then one other day I didn't pre-plan my post and I was in the middle of the wilderness and I didn't have service. So I missed 2 days. 2 days of missing in 3.5 years. I have instilled trust with my following. They know that I am always gonna show up. They know that I will always be there for them. They know that if they spend money on me, or they're trusting enough to spend money on me because they know I'm always going to show up. Does that make sense? So if you're in that wave of like 2 to 3 months as a coach or 3 to 4 months as a coach and you're like, shit, like I'm gonna actually have to reach out to people. Like my warm market is saturated. Like you guys, you gotta do the work. Like tell me about the hours that you spent doing your reach outs. Tell me about the time that you spent studying social media and creating these new marketing platforms and, you know, doing giveaways and, you know, figuring out what your audience wants to hear from you. Because if you're just sitting back saying, well, no one wants to reach out to me, well, no one wants to, you know, no one wants to work with me, that's because you haven't built that foundation of trust. So it's normal for your social media journey to go like that. It's normal. So I always like to tell coaches that. But then obviously from here, I think you really need to know how to audit yourself and ask yourself questions like, am I doing the things that I need to do in order to grow my platform and create that base, right? Because our social media, we run our business for free, right? We're not paying thousands of dollars for rent. We're not paying thousands of dollars for employees to come in and sit behind the cash register. Like our Instagram is free, okay? But we still have to work on that marketing platform to get people in and to get people excited, right? And it has to be more than just fitness. It has to be more than just Shakeology, right? You have to create those connections. So before I go into like the branding and connection stuff, I want to audit you guys and just talk a little bit about like visually some things that you guys can do to fix your social medias like right now. So first off, I'm going to go to my Instagram. Again, these are tactical things that you can do like tonight. So if you're going to look at your Instagram, maybe you can pull yours up right now or just take notes as I share this. When you see your feed at the front here or the top of your profile, again, creating a standard that is professional and that looks like professional to the eye, right? Like this is your storefront, right? I always say Lululemon doesn't throw up shitty ass blurry photos of a girl in like see-through yoga pants that she got from Walmart, right? Like they have professional photos that they create that make people excited to pay over $100 for yoga pants. Okay, so the marketing has to be good, right? It doesn't have to be perfect, but it has to be good. So let's start with our profile picture. I know maybe this is so lower level for some of you seasoned coaches, but to this day, I still see crappy Instagram profile pictures, and it drives me up the wall because it shows me that they're not taking themselves seriously. It shows me that they can't actually be coachable and be like, whoa, like that is not what a professional business owner would do. So number one, is your profile picture clear? It doesn't have to be a clear picture of your face. It can be, of your full body. It can be of you doing a yoga pose. It can be of you, sitting at your computer or something, but it has to be a professional picture that is bright, that you can notice like what you look like in it or what you stand for. Like one of my brands kind of like already stands out in my profile picture. Obviously you guys don't need to do a handstand photo. I just love this photo. It's of the lake. It's one of my brands and it's yoga. It's one of my brands. If you're not a yoga teacher, you don't have to do a yoga pose, but you should have a very nice clear picture of your face on your profile picture. There should be no friends in your profile picture. There should be no, groups of people in this profile picture. People are looking at this picture and it's like a centimeter big on Instagram. So if you're trying to squeeze in a whole bunch of people, that's not going to make a lot of sense, right? Because people should be going to your platform for fitness help, right? To be like, relatable, for, nutrition help, right? So make sure that it reflects like what you're portraying as a coach, right? Your name should be on here. And if you have your name and then like 5, 4, 6, 7, 8, that's a big pet peeve of mine. I would ask you to please switch that immediately. And something that Jamie always taught me is you don't brand a business name as a coach, right? Beachbody is a relationship business. So your profile name should be your name or something to do with your name, right? Because we're branding us as an individual. If we brand like, a thing or a certain stage of our life that we're in right now, it's going to kind of corner us, right? And our brands are naturally going to evolve. Tiny home living was a huge brand of mine for like 2 years, and it has nothing to do with me anymore because I don't live in a tiny home. So if I did at Tiny Home Karli, that would be completely irrelevant, and I would literally have to change my Instagram name, right? So try to change this and make it just your name or something close to just your name or something that like, you stand for as a person. Obviously, again, this is not set in stone. This is just something that has worked for me and I've seen other brand influencers work for them. So make sure that you don't have any numbers in here. I really don't want to see that anymore. And that it's of your name. In your bio, it should talk about things outside of just fitness. It should talk about, your brands, who you are, what you stand for, what you're passionate about. You have a ton of space here to talk about things. If you look at any of my top coaches, there's other things besides fitness in there. I don't change mine very frequently, but I definitely switch it around every now and again, but don't get hung up on it. And then there should be a call to action at the end with a website. Now, if anybody puts their Team Beachbody Coach website link, I will probably DM you and tell you to take it down immediately because we are not sending somebody to the Beachbody website. We are sending somebody to a Google form so they can talk to us and we can figure out what their goals are and how we can best serve them. It can link to an email or maybe a Facebook group if you're hosting a Become a Coach workshop or something. I love using Linktree. So that's an awesome thing to put into your profile. So you can click on that and then it'll give you separate buttons to go to. But there should always be like a form. There should always be a call to action to say, hey, you can work with me, right? That's the entire reason we're on our Instagram, right? Is to show people that they can work with us, right? That they can connect with us, that they can, that we can help them, right? And then other than that, obviously your highlight should have something over them. I don't want them to look crappy. I need this one to still cover this one. But they should be just like, cohesive somehow. I literally just searched tie-dye on Pinterest and then I zoomed in on little different pictures of this one tie-dye picture and I created those as my highlight reel, okay? You don't need to spend hours creating little itty-bitty graphics. That literally took me 5 minutes. But again, it should be cohesive. When someone goes to my Instagram, they should be like, damn, wow, like she's professional. If I'm gonna pay money to somebody to help me with my fitness journey, it better be somebody who's professional, right? And holds themselves to a professional standard. All right, for Facebook, this is like a really little random thing, but I definitely want to talk about this because I think a lot of the times this is what I've noticed with people. So you have a personal Facebook, and then you have a business Facebook, right? You have a Facebook like page, and then you have a personal Facebook that you guys have all probably had since high school or whatever, right? You can't build your whole brand on a personal Facebook because you can actually get your Facebook shut down. You can't sell things on a personal Facebook. That's why you have a Facebook like page, and that's why it's so important to connect your Instagram to a Facebook like page, not to your personal Facebook. Does that make sense? Down here, again, I talk a little bit about my brands again in my intro. And then this is another really big pet peeve of mine. Again, it's just something that bothers me, is people will have like coach at Team Beachbody. And then you'll click on the Beachbody link and it'll take you to teambeachbody.com, which doesn't help them at all because then it gets them confused because they're like, what do I even do? What even program should I do? Or they'll give a link to like health and fitness coach, and then you'll click on health and fitness coach, and it's like some random like page that tells them nothing about nothing, right? It doesn't guide them anywhere. So what I would say is give them a call to action to go over to your business page, right? So mine, it just says, follow me at Karli Lindor. I click here, and it takes me over to my personal page, or to my like page, which is my business page, right? So I can always guide people over here, and there's always, you know, a way for people to, you know, go over to my business page and get connected with me here. Does that make sense? That's like really minor, and those are just things that bothered me. But those are things that you guys should change. Again, little, really like small action items. All right, so moving on from that, like kind of visual stuff, something that Jamie talked to me about, and this is literally how I built like my entire Instagram, is really diving into your 5 brands and what makes you, you as a coach. And again, for seasoned coaches, maybe you're like, okay, I already know this, thanks for telling me. But I know there's also some new coaches on here that like need a reminder of like sharing the brands outside of just Beachbody and Shakeology and like your next fitness program, right? So this is something that Jamie taught me. This is something that I teach all my coaches. But what I would say is, when you're thinking about starting to share your journey or starting to share your story on Instagram, please don't create another Instagram, just share it on your personal Instagram, right? Because this is a story of us, not just our Beachbody story, right? This is our brands as a whole. So I always ask my coaches to really identify like 5 things that really make them who they are, okay? So 5 different brands that really speak and resonate to you and your lifestyle. And please don't like navigate away from like your normal, okay? So like if you work a full-time like corporate job, that should be something, that should be one of your 5 brands, okay? I see a lot of people that work like a corporate job and they don't share anything about it. And I'm like, girl, like you work retail, you work in a restaurant. When I used to work at a bar and I worked till 2 a.m., I wrote posts all about that shit all the time. Do you know how relatable that was? Do you know how many servers reached out to me and they were like, girl, I see you with your containers in the back room and the French fries next to it. Like, that's so freaking relatable. I've been a server for 8 years, 9 years, 10 years. Do you know how many servers I have as PS coaches now because they followed me back when I was working the bar life? I talked about the bar life all the freaking time. And I still do to this day because it's a great brand to talk about and it's a great market to pull people from because people want to get the hell out of freaking restaurant life, right? Because serving sucks your soul. So figure out what those 5 brands are. So for me right now, these 5 brands are totally different than the 5 brands that I just started with, or that I started with when I, first became a coach. My brands right now are Mountain Town Living, Engaged, soon to be Newlywed Life, I guess, Dog Mom, because I have dogs. Yoga is a big part of my brand, and then coaching. So coaching is 1 out of 5 different brands that make me who I am. Other brands that I talk about is like being really into like thrifty shopping. Another big one that I talk about is like home renovations. Another big one is like fashion and style because I majored in apparel merchandising. So there's a whole bunch of different things that I always make sure that I'm threading into my brand that give me reasons. Yeah, Angie knows, Buffalo Exchange, because I always freaking tag them in my pictures. But there's all these different things. They're connection points that I'm always making with my following, okay? If you're only posting about fitness, if you're only posting about Shakeology, you're going to make a lot of connection points with a lot of other Beachbody coaches. And that's literally the only people that you're going to connect to. And you're probably never going to sell a challenge pack because they're probably already coaches, right? Or they're probably already on a fitness journey, okay? So solidify, figure out what really makes you you. Again, normal is really, really good. So if you're sitting here and you're like, I'm a mama too, I'm a stay-at-home mom, or like maybe I work this time, like those are very relatable things. Some of the most successful coaches in this entire network are stay-at-home moms, because stay-at-home moms want an additional avenue to like pour into, right? So mom is an awesome, awesome brand. Stay-at-home mom is an awesome, awesome brand. Student is an awesome, awesome brand. You know, grad student, you know, little things that make you who you are so important. So I would suggest, like, even after this call, grab out an 8.5 by 11 piece of paper and just write down all of the things that make you who you are. You know, when I did this exercise a little bit ago, because I just kind of wanted to refresh my memory, I wrote down so many freaking random things, you guys. Like, I wrote down like thrifty. I actually did write tequila, Angie. I did like Mexican food lover. I talked about long hair. I talked about yoga. I talked about value village lover. I talked about pom mom. I talked about wedding hacks. I talked about engaged life. I talked about Washington. I talked about hikes. I talked about you know, alpine lakes and swimming and stand-up paddleboarding and trucks, because I drive a truck. Like, there's all of these different things that you can paint this picture with that, you know, have nothing to do with coaching. But again, you guys, they're connection points, right? They're creating this relationship with your following. Your following is starting to fall in love with who you are outside of just being a Beachbody coach, because being a Beachbody coach is amazing, but you want to connect to people who are like you, right? You want to connect to people who are similar to you. So make sure that you're sharing those 5 brands. Okay, drink water. Marissa, I just saw this. I'm going to answer really quick. What about religion? I feel like you could turn people away from other religions. I think that there's a certain way that you can present yourself with religions, like, or faith. I'll share verses randomly. I shared a quote that I found that talked about God yesterday. And, you know, I know Courtney Dunaker, she's like one of the top 15 coaches in the entire network. You can follow her at Sown with Strength. She's amazing, and she literally speaks only to faith-based women. So it's a very, very targeted market, but please don't be afraid to target, like, be very, very specific and speak to your people. The last thing that you want to do is like just cast this like big wide net and be like, I'm open to anybody, I love everybody, I'm not going to step on anybody's toes. Like, I get like messages of people who like don't agree with me. Like, I talk very openly about the fact that like I don't like children and I don't want children. And every time I do that, I have moms that message me and they're like, wow, you're an asshole. And I'm like, okay. But I also get messages from other girls who are like, wow, like, that's so cool. Like, I've been so afraid to talk about the fact that I don't feel like being a mom is my calling. And then boom, like, that is a connection and a follower for life. So it's okay to talk about like what you really believe in. Now, I'm not gonna go bashing on moms. Some of my best friends are moms, right? I'm just gonna talk and speak to my truth and who I really am and what I really believe is authentically and most me, right? Does that make sense? Okay, so that was the brand one. Hopefully, how are we doing on time? Okay, I'm almost done. All right, the last thing, or not the last thing, second to last thing is I really wanna encourage you guys to stop being scared. I remember when I first started on social media, I was like, this is so stupid. This is such a comparison game. Like, I hate Instagram. I hate Facebook. Like, I was a girl that never even had a MySpace. Never. I got a Facebook, I think, when I was like maybe 16 or 17, and I was like forced to. I hated taking pictures. But I think like once you guys really start to realize that like you can use social media to be a catalyst for change. You can use this awesome platform to inspire people, to encourage people to, you know, make a change in their own life. Like, everything starts to shift. And just constantly reminding yourself that like a random person's opinion of you will never pay your bills, okay? Your cousin that you meet at a barbecue once a year on the 4th of July, she's never gonna pay your freaking bills. And if you post on your Instagram censored enough so that your Aunt Sally doesn't get offended, that's a problem. Like, that's a serious, serious problem, because Aunt Sally probably doesn't give a shit about your mortgage payment at the end of the day, right? Like, she doesn't care what kind of life you're gonna live, right? She's probably like, she should probably just have like, you know, an 8 to 5 like everyone else does, right? But like, if you wanna be different, like, you gotta do something different, and you have to stop worrying about what, like, you guys, I still to this day, like, think of friends. It was so funny. I still think of friends like from high school who were like the freaking cool kids, or even like in elementary school who were the freaking cool kids. And like, they used to always be in the back of my mind when I would like share pictures on Instagram. I'd be like, oh my gosh, like, I post this because it's gonna like grow my business, but like, you know, semi scared of like what they're gonna think or their opinion of me. And then all of a sudden it's like, oh my gosh, like, they're never gonna pay my bills. if I would have listened to them, I definitely wouldn't be living in this house. I definitely wouldn't have ever been able to retire Kev. I wouldn't even be able to live in this town because there's no jobs in this town. It's a little mountain town, right? It was so funny. 2 weeks ago, this girl who was like the shit, you guys, like she was like the shit, like the coolest person in the world. I got an Instagram DM from her, and she was like, she asked me, she was like, hey, would you mind like talking to me a little bit about this coaching thing that you do? And she was the girl that like graduated in the top of her class in college. She got this amazing job at this retail store in downtown Seattle. She had like the job that I freaking wanted, but I moved to Canada because I was like, F this. And like she did all the things, and she literally messaged me 2 weeks ago, and she was like, yeah, like this like 9-to-5 thing is like really crushing my soul. Like I really, would love to hear about what you do. And you guys, she's probably been following me for 3.5 years. So before you throw in the towel in month 4 or month 5, because it gets hard, know that like it's going to take a while for you to instill trust in people, but like remember what you're working for, right? Stop being scared. Like your goals should be really big for this business if you're hopping onto these team calls and you're excited to hear, about this social media stuff, and you're going to pour, time into creating this brand, right? And then again, just asking yourself, why are we showing up here, right? Why do we show up on Instagram? Is it to please Aunt Sally, make sure that she okays all of our pictures? Or are our blinders on? We're showing up to create financial freedom for our family. I watched a training the other day, and this coach came on and he said, you know what? I don't care what people think of me because my daughters are age 9 and 11, and both of their college tuitions are paid in full. Paid in full. And they're 9 and 11 years old. So yeah, I'm not going to sit here and worry about what Aunt Sally thinks about my Instagram or what I'm posting or how hard I'm working. Like that hit me in the freaking heart. I was like, damn, like we pass up this opportunity of like so much freaking freedom, not even for us, for our family, for our extended family. I always talk about my dog's lives and how amazing my dog's lives are because I decided to work my ass off. There's so many things that this can give us if we decide to stop being scared, right? And every time we listen to somebody else's opinion, every time we say every time someone says, oh, you're doing that beach bunny thing, like you're letting them make you lose your voice. Every time you listen in to someone else, you lose your own voice. Every time you go and listen to other people's opinions, you're losing your own voice and your own power that you can bring to your Instagram and to your photos and to your captions, what you can say. So I would highly suggest after this call, this is another action item, is I want you guys to put your blinders on, and I want you to unfollow every single coach that you follow on Instagram.
Ooh,
it will be the
good.
most thing that you have done all week. I can guarantee it. Every single coach that you follow, unfollow every single one. Just wait. Am I still unmuted? Okay, cool. After you've unfollowed every single coach, I want you to pick 3 to 5 people, 3 to 5, who you want to show up into your feed that are inspirations to you, who you aspire to be like, who have a similar brand to you that you can take inspiration from, who are other successful coaches in the network, okay? 3 to 5 people, that's it. I love Jamie. I do not follow her. I love Amy Silverman. You guys know I do. I don't follow her. I love Cassie. Don't follow her, okay? I don't follow her, okay? If I want inspiration from Cassie, I can type in Cassie's name in my Instagram search box and I can go look at her stuff for inspiration. But I'm not gonna have Cassie showing up with all of her mic drop moments and all of her captions, taking away my voice, taking away what I wanna show up on my platform and preach about, right? So put your freaking blinders on, right? This isn't a freaking sorority. We're trying to build a business here, right? So focus. All right, last thing is random tips and things that have worked for me. First thing I would say, and I already touched on this, is showing up every day. I know different coaches in the network say you can post every other day, you can post every 4 days or whatever. Please make sure, I would say that you're posting every day, right? You're opening your doors just like any other business opens its doors. I feel like the more I post, the more times my door opens, the more time I get onto somebody's feed, the more time people, again, start thinking about me, right? So the more times I post, the more people are like, oh, hello, oh, it's Karli again, oh, it's Karli again, right? So if I'm only posting once every 24 hours, it only gives them one option to really get me into their feed or into their mind or into their thought process. Another thing that I really want to talk about is speak and lead to your coaches through your posts. If you have a coach on your team who's like, wow, she's like really dragging her feet, but she's claiming that she wants to be a full-time coach, like do a tough love post and speak to the fact that like you get up at 4 a.m. and you fill out your business activity tracker, right? If you have clients that are like, oh, I really want to be successful, but like the weekends, I always just like, wash it off. I did a post a couple weeks ago about the fact that like my first 42 days actually with the program, when I first became a coach, I followed the workout program to a T. I never missed a workout, and I followed the nutrition plan to a T. And I did not cheat once for 42 days. I had the best results of my life. I had the best marketing tools of my entire life, and my business skyrocketed because I took the meal plan and I took the fitness calendar super seriously. And I talked about that on a post. And do you know what happened to all these prospects or all these clients who were like wishy-washy and not getting the results they wanted? They're like, wow, I saw your post. Like, clearly you take this seriously. I obviously need to take this more seriously, not just throwing away the weekends, right? So speak and lead your coaches or your clients through your posts. Talk about your goals with this business. Don't be negative, right? When I see people bitching about their jobs or like, oh, I have to go back to work on Monday, like on an Instagram post, I'm like, that is so not exciting for me to read. Like I should be reading about the fact that like you're diving into your coaching business and you're so excited about these goals that you're going to hit and this freedom that you're going to have 8 months down the road, 12 months down the road, a year and a half down the road, right? I don't complain about Mondays. I never did complain about Mondays. I talked about how I didn't like the bar, but whenever I talked about how I didn't like the bar, I talked about ways that I was getting my ass out of the bar, okay? So I could complain. Yes, I could be somewhat negative, but then I would also give my followers an action item because it does nothing to be like, oh, Sunday scaries, Megan is a really good person who talks about this. She's a math teacher and she always talks about the Sunday scaries, but she also talks about how she's making a plan to get herself out of it. Okay, she talks about the fact that yes, the Sunday scaries are there, but she's also diving into the coaching and she's showing up for her business so that one day she's not gonna have that. That's inspiring, right? If you're following that, it's like, whoa. Or if you're following reads that, they're like, wow, like actionable, inspired. That's so exciting. Let's see. Another thing, obviously, energy speaks, so don't be the typical Beachbody TV show. If you're showing up on your Instagram, okay, here's my Energize, okay, here's my workout, okay, here's my business activity tracker, okay, here's a quote from my PD. Good night. Oh my gosh. Like, I would never tune into your TV show, right? You have to share other things outside of just coaching and like what's so exciting about your coaching journey. Because I'm sure you guys are all really excited about coaching, but not everyone else is because no one gets it. Right? You have to create other connection points again. Let's see. Another thing is obviously knowing your marketing purposes. So making sure you're sharing like super professional photos. I always have like engagement shots of Kev and I and professional fitness photos. Angie and I did a shoot. I think I invested, what was that, $150? Like it wasn't even that much to do a professional photo shoot. And I have like 200 fitness photos to choose from. And it makes people, again, take me seriously as a fitness professional. Guys, we're in the fitness industry. So you better have some like fitness photos so people can see that you take yourself seriously as a fitness professional, right? You don't have to have abs, but like it's important to carry yourself professionally. So make sure that you have those awesome photos that again are fitness related. I know Jamie just did this with a handful of her coaches too. And then the last thing is everyone starts sucking. Okay, I started with less than it was like 430 maybe followers on Instagram. I didn't have a Facebook like page. I had no idea what I was doing and I hated social media. Okay, so we all start somewhere. I always say like the analogy of like a kid walking. Like if a kid tries to walk and then he falls down, is he gonna be like, well, guess walking isn't for me. Guess I'll sit in the chair the rest of my life. Like, no. Like if you suck at Instagram, like you have to keep moving forward. You have to dive into trainings. You have to figure out what you're bad at and you have to get better by practicing, right? That's why when I see coaches like not post for 3, 4, 5 days, I'm like, you have got to get through these trenches and you are walking at a snail's pace because you're not feeling forward enough to figure out what your audience likes. If you're only posting once a week, it's going to take forever for you to figure out what your audience likes and who you're supposed to be talking to and how you're supposed to carry yourself in your posts and which ones, go farther in the feed and which ones don't. Okay, I feel like I'm gonna lose my voice. Let's see. Okay, so I have an action item for you guys. Please be coachable with this and please make sure that you're tracking your success, right? So if you've been a coach for 4 months and your Instagram hasn't grown, like you're doing something wrong. Like you need to make sure every single month that your following is increasing, and you need to make sure that you're carrying yourself, again, professionally. So the action item, and I'll share this with Cassie so you can share it with your team also, is I'm gonna create like a little graphic, and I want you guys to share a screenshot of your Instagram in the comments below the graphic. And then I want you guys to go onto each other's screenshots and share one thing that you love and one thing they're good at on their social media, and then one thing that you think that they could improve upon. So hopefully we're gonna have this huge feed of comments of all these different Instagram screenshots of your like, here, let me show you what I mean. Because this is obvious to me, but like back in the day it was not obvious for me. So I would just go like this, and then I would screenshot it. Oh, wow, I turned my phone off. But whatever, you're just gonna screenshot like the front part of your Instagram. And then we'll post them in the comments below, and this will be in our team pages. It'll all be explained in the team page, so you can just go there and look at it. But you'll screenshot your Instagram, you'll post it in the comments below this graphic that I'm gonna share in the team page. And then somebody, once you see a graphic, go to that graphic and comment one thing you love or one thing you think that they're good at, and then one thing that you think that they could improve upon, especially based on this call and everything I shared. You guys got it? Okay, I am sweating. Like, I have so much boob sweat right now. Hopefully there aren't any guys on this call. Wow. All right, Cassie, I know you said you wanted to say something.
Yes, oh my God, that was so good. Okay, so I have a couple things I want to share after listening to Karli. So number one, I love how she talked about, maybe you have, raise your hand if you've started coaching, you had like a warm market, like people and your friends and family, like you had people there. Okay, well, consider yourself lucky as shit. I had nobody. And so at the time, I remember thinking, this is really hard. Like, this is hard. I had to go out and completely, like, from strangers, hit Success Club. And I remember thinking how hard it was, and it sucked. But just like, I don't know if you guys were on the team call from last Monday, Team Fight to Finish, that I led, but everything is happening for you. And because I had that horrible start that was really, really hard, I learned social media right off the bat. I learned how to develop relationships with my cold market. I learned not to take anything for granted. And I learned how to build this business with not a single person in my real life until now. Like, I'm just now getting to my warm market. I've been doing this 3 years. So that's number one. Number two that I wanted to say, an affirmation for you guys. So I know sometimes it can feel like you're pumping out this content. And I heard this affirmation the other day, and I was like, oh, that's gold. And so the affirmation was, every time I create, I receive. So every time I create, I receive. And I choose to believe that. So every time I create, even if I have 50 likes on a photo and I feel like it bombed, nope, I receive. I'm receiving a new client. I'm receiving a new coach. I'm receiving a DM asking what I do. Like, I am receiving every single time I'm creating any piece of content. And that's going to help you with your mindset. And then the last thing, so this is like super off the cuff. I'm going to share my screen because this is okay, Karli went over pet peeves to her. Guys, this is my pet peeve. And I just have to go over it like very, very quickly because I just can't handle it anymore. Okay, so your Instagram bio should not be fluffy unicorn shit that nobody knows what you're talking about. So I'm going to pull up some examples. But you need a very clear statement of who you're talking to and what you can do for them. So if I go to your Instagram bio and it says, I help women feel confident, happy, and free, that is not the language of my customer, and I don't know what that means. Are you going to go sign up with somebody and pay money to be, to work with them because you're walking around being like, oh, I really need somebody to help me be happy, confident, and free? Like, that's not the language of your customer. That's not, you know what I mean? Like, that's not specific. So mine is super specific because this is exactly what I struggled with, which was crash dieting. So I help. Like, this is specifically who I'm helping. So another example, I pulled some of these pictures from Angie Lee. I follow her on Instagram, and she literally goes through different things you can update. So for this first one, I'm just going to get like a few quick examples. She had, I help women lose weight. Okay, that's pretty good so far, but a lot of people want to lose weight. So like, how can you get even more specific? Are you helping busy moms lose weight? Like, one of my coaches has 5 kids. So hers is, I help busy moms, or how does it say? I help busy moms lose weight, something about chasing kids and still like reaching their goals. So like, that's super specific, right? And then this person, God, this is a pet peeve too. Like, somebody puts NF Fitness LLC. Guys, your people don't know what the hell that means. So if you have abbreviations, if you have like school abbreviations, or some sort of, if you're a personal trainer, like, I guess most people would know what NASM personal trainer is, but even still, like, that can be a little bit vague. If she has the word life enthusiast, that means nothing to the person on your Instagram. So please delete it, okay? It doesn't mean anything. And then let me help you. See how vague that is? Like, help you with what? Help you lose weight, help you gain confidence, help you like learn how to plant trees? Like, what am I helping you with? Okay. So I don't get it. Okay. One more and then I'm done because I can like really get off on this. So you always, social media isn't about you. I guess that's what I'm getting at. We write our bios about us, like dog mom, I love walking, I love yoga. Like it's all about us. And all anybody ever cares about is themselves. So when they come to your page, they need to know, what can you do for me? So when it says, you know, living life in activewear, what does that mean for your customer? That doesn't mean anything for the person reading your page. You get what I'm saying here? And then there's one more example, then I'll stop ranting. But it's just like, I have to. So she talks about talking to your customer's pain point. So mine says, I help women ditch the crash diets because that's my pain point. Like that's my experience in life. So talk to that person's pain point. Again, leave out all these weird things. It doesn't really mean anything. She has stories for workouts and recipes. Now that's pretty cool, right? Because then they know tangibly, okay, I can get this from her. She has hashtag CP strong. That doesn't mean shit to your customer. Take it out. It doesn't matter. And start here, babe. Let's have a more clear call to action. So like you could have a call to action that says, join my August, I don't know, whatever your August boot camp's called, you know, here. Or mine just says work sweat with me. I probably could be more specific. But you definitely don't want something super, super vague where it's just like link below. Like I've literally seen people put link below and I'm like, what does that mean? What link is below? Am I linking to a porn site? Like, what are you linking to? I don't understand. So anyway, I'm gonna stop sharing because I think that's everything I had. And then the last thing I wanted to say was Karli mentioned your personal Facebook page. So there are a million and one ways to build this business, and there's no right or wrong way. I know some coaches are all about the business pages and some are Facebook personal pages. And I just want to make a clarification for my coaches because I train specifically to use a Facebook personal page. But do what your upline teaches you, you know, because there's so many ways to do it. Some people have great success with business pages, some with personal pages. No right or wrong way. I've just found a lot more success with personal. And if that's working for you, do it. You know, don't take everything with a grain of salt and apply it to your business in a way that makes sense for you. Okay, end rant. Sorry, I had to get really tough over there.
Those were such good tips. I love how you could like zoom in on it. And I have some work to do on my bio. I feel like I need to be like more focused.
I didn't really understand any of that, but I listened to Angie Lee. She has a podcast called The Angie Lee Show, and I was just like, this is so helpful. And ever since then, and I'm an ambassador. I'm going to her like conference thing, and I was like, I'm just obsessed with her.
That makes so much sense because you don't get that much time or you don't get that much space to talk. So it needs to be like focused.
Yeah. And like how many coaches do you go to their page and it's like 5 things about them? And now they know you're a coach because all the coaches do that. They share 5 brands. And so it's like, we just have to stop doing that and make it about your customer. Okay. Sorry, Jax is crying. Do you guys have any questions?
Yeah, I'm looking for them. So when you say personal, do you mean working from the page you have already or creating a new personal page, just fitness related? So Elizabeth, what she means is you can use your personal Facebook page or you can create a Facebook like page, which is like a business like page. Obviously, I also like train to like go into your warm market and like reach out to like Facebook friends and stuff because like those are obviously the first people that you should help. But for me, I train people to like create a separate business page just because that's what Facebook wants you to do. And it's, yeah. Emma, question. I've only heard coaches talk about branding to women. We can market to men too, right? Yeah, totally. My market isn't men. Again, be specific to your market and who you're talking to. If you vibe well with men and you have a lot of men following you or something, then go for it. But this is a women-dominated business, and if you're a woman, I would suggest that you work with women unless you really want to work with men. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's kind of like Gina. She posted, and I forget what group the other day, and she was like, guys, I've been spending all this time talking about how these programs help me lose weight or help you get in shape. And she's like, I've gained weight. Like, I'm the person who's already fit, and I need to talk to that person. And so it's like, same thing. If you don't want to work with men, don't talk to men. But if you want to work with men, hell yeah, like freaking go for it. Okay, number 1 tip for new followers. Would you recommend the follow-unfollow method? I do have a training on how to do that in an ethical way to where you're not just unfollowing people like right after they follow you. I have a YouTube training. If you search just Cassandra Biltz, it should come right up and it'll walk you through how to do that. So it's an option. I think for new accounts that are really small, it can be a really good way to grow a lot quicker than just waiting for people to come to you. Somebody said, do I not put my 5 brands in our bio? It's not that you can't put them in there, but like think about your customer coming to your page, do they really care about those 5 things? Is it helping them solve a problem? Does that make sense? So if you're a mom, sure, you can put that in there, like, because then you're going to attract other moms. But if it just says like wine lover, fan of HGTV, you know, like husband, hubby, like hubby or wife to be, like that's not something that they don't know how you can help them when they read that. Does that make sense?
Jordan, for the Insta pic, do you want bio only or like the last 12 pics? Let's do, well, I think if you go onto your Instagram and you screenshot it, if you scroll down, you'll get like your top 6 pics plus your bio. So it'll just be a screenshot of like, yeah, your top 6 pics and your bio. I want people to like talk about the bio too. So I think that'd be interesting. But yeah, I mean, like my bio, like it talks about like the upper left USA living, because I attract a lot of like Pacific Northwesters, and I like, you can't share about like, you can't have Pacific Northwest be your brand if you don't have like posts about Pacific Northwest. Like that's so great that like you're into like HGTV or whatever. Like Cassie said, like what are you gonna do? Post a picture like of you watching HGTV? Like that's not relevant and not exciting for people.
Yeah, in mine I do have the little location, and I put Ohio because I attract a lot of Midwest Ohio women, and I'm trying to build a team here, and so that's working super well for me. So you could put your location for sure.
Christy asked, do you pre-schedule your posts for consistency? How did you create that habit as someone who struggled with social media? I mean, yeah, I definitely struggled like sharing my story at first, but I never found that like pre-planning my posts was going to help, because I always wanted to share like my story. I always have drafts saved in my Instagram. So I'll have like professional photos with like a quote or something that's saved if I'm in like a bind and I don't have time to like sit down and write out a caption. Yes, there are times where like you're sharing on your Instagram as like a call to action or get people to think. But again, there's also this time where you're sharing on your Instagram just to like put a marketing tool out there, just to put something out there into the feed, so that again, people are still like like it doesn't have to be this big aha moment 5 paragraphs long about talking about your lifestyle like revolution every single time you post on Instagram, right? Like my highest impressions was this random photo with this random quote that I found on Pinterest yesterday, and it did nothing for my coaching business, but it shot my impressions up, it shot my views up, it shot my likes up. Like it encouraged people to go to my page because it reached this whole different market. So I think that you need to know like why you're showing up and sharing things every day, but it doesn't always have to be like this like storytelling time. But yeah, I think, and then again, Christy, like it comes with practice. Like you're gonna suck at first, but if you're just gonna sit there and like think about like how you struggle, like I don't really even like the fact that like struggled is in there, because like we all start there, right? But like, why are you struggling? Like, why are you stuck there? Like, how can you get yourself out of that and get yourself out of this mentality of like, I'm struggling, right? Because the only way you're going to get better is like by doing and sharing and like reaching out and posting on Instagram. Like that's the only way that you're going to get better.
I don't use anything to schedule posts. I don't even know if there are apps to schedule on Instagram. Karli, I don't think there is.
I think there are, but I don't really know if they are.
I mean, I wouldn't recommend using a third-party app to schedule, because that's going to probably affect your reach. Like Instagram knows when you use that shit, and they're just like anal and they don't want you to use it. But yeah, if you want, you could create it. You could, like, sometimes I'll have the post completely ready and then it takes me 2 seconds to post. You know what I mean?
But also, if you're like a nurse working 12-hour shifts and you know you need a post to put up there, like, yeah, schedule away. It's your business. Any other questions? How do you reach out to people without being like, hey, buy this challenge pack? Well, I had that happen a lot before I started Beachbody, and it was such a turn off.
Wait, that's how they said it, Marissa? They legit just said, hey, buy this challenge pack? I hope to God they did not say that.
So just do exactly the opposite of what they do. How about that? And I would also say, if you're getting those messages, you're probably putting out that Beachbody vibe. Like, I don't think I swear to God, you guys, 3.5 years of coaching, I have never got someone reaching out to me, asking me to buy a challenge pack. Because my brands are so not focused on freaking selfie, shake-out, portion control containers. Like, it's just not who I am. And I'm so focused on sharing other parts of my life and my brands. I just got so distracted by Jordan drinking her wine. Now I want wine. But it's like, I don't know. I think if you focus on your brands enough, like people won't reach out to you for that. And if they're asking you to buy a challenge bag, then you're not making it very obvious that like you're a coach and like you have your shit together and like you don't need that. Thanks. I would just do the exact opposite. Like, were they personal to you? Probably not. Did they ask you about your goals? Probably not. Marissa, I would actually specifically search in the Keyword to Rise page, the challenger. Is it called the challenger interview, Cassie? Challenger interview?
Mine and my team page, yeah.
But I think we put it in ours too. And it's literally a step-by-step way to like reach out to somebody authentically, asking them about their goals, not being salesy. The challenger interview.
Yeah, we have like, I would just go to our YouTube training of all the team calls we've done. There's so many.
And they're actually linked all in the new coach prep course too. So if you're asking that question, you probably haven't done the new coach prep course. I just don't know how to reach out to people. Yeah, do the new coach prep course because there are literally so many trainings in there.
Would it be weird if you created a different Insta for your coaching, or should you reinvent your current one, which is better? Odd question. Sorry, not an odd question at all. It's totally up to you. You can make, I had like a tone it up thing account, so I just turned that into my coaching account. So you could make a new one or use the one you have. I would, honestly, the question I'd ask myself is, can I be myself on my current Instagram? If you feel like you're not gonna be able to post as you really are because you're still in your head about people watching you and you haven't gotten past that, like to the point where you don't give a fuck anymore, which you'll get there. But if you're not there yet, then I would maybe create a new one so that you can really post as yourself.
Yeah, but remembering that like your warm market is like gonna be your first wave of clients and customers. And why would you not want to help your warm market, you guys? Like, this is health and fitness. Like, you shouldn't segregate yourself in a corner in a new Instagram page and not want to help the people that are closest to you, right?
Yeah, that's true, because you're gonna miss out on like however many followers you have. Even if it's 100, that's like 100 people not seeing your content.
Yeah. Emma said, I did do the prep training course. I'm still struggling to understand how to start authentic conversations, considering I am just trying to expand my market.
Girl, you just message them and you say, hey girl, just lurked your page. Sorry, hope you don't mind. I love your dog. Like, whatever. Like, just have how would you talk to somebody at a party? That's the way you think of it. So I literally just, hey girl, hope you don't mind. Totally just creeped your Instagram. LOL, we have so much in common. Ask a question. Always ask a question at the end. Boom, done. Reach out is done. Like, I feel like you're in your head about this and you're overthinking it. And you need to just do it, because at the end of the day, guys, especially if it's cold market, you are never going to meet that person in real life unless they join your team. So who gives a flying fuck? Like, who literally gives a shit? Who cares? You're never going to meet this person.
Like, didn't you just complete a fitness program, and aren't you freaking in love with like the results and like this amazing community that you're a part of? Like, when I got done with 2 rounds of the 21-day fix and I literally had abs and I was like, what the heck is happening to my life? I literally messaged every single one of my friends and I was like, you're doing this. This is amazing. Like, you're freaking doing this and you're going to freak out because it's the best thing I've ever found. This community is amazing. I'm actually like happy for once and proud of my body. I'm feeling strong. I'm feeling empowered. I'm feeling motivated. I'm feeling so excited. Like, what else is there to talk about? Like, are you kidding? And if you don't feel that way when you're reaching out, like, you should probably just like go recommit to a program, right? Because like, that's how we should, like, we're saving people's lives here. Like, we're changing the course of somebody's life. Like, we're helping a mom like feel better in her body and actually treat her kids nicer and like show up to her family in a more like positive way. Like, we're helping a student like get off of her anxiety medication and like freaking be proud of the body she's in. And when she looks in the mirror, she's going to be like happy with what she sees. Like, I don't understand like how that could feel inauthentic.
Karli.
Let's fucking go. Okay. Nicole, yep, those are my reach outs. I'm literally obsessed. And if you're not obsessed, guys, like, take a step back. Don't reach out to people. If you're not obsessed and you're feeling like it's forced, like, please do not reach out to people. Please do not give Beachbody a bad name. I've been reaching out since day one, freaking obsessed. All right, any last questions?
You guys are cracking me up. Karli, we need you to always be like the week of your wedding, because this is just the most intense energy.
I feel like
love it. Yeah. Thanks for hopping on, guys.
Yeah, thanks for hopping on, people.
Shit was lit.
What?
I said shit was lit.
It was lit. Bye.
Bye.